Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wassalatu wassalam ala sharfil anbiya'i wal mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'een. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa ahlul uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Many a times students come to us and they are asking like, okay, what do you teach? Do you at your institution, which is Qur'an and Arabic Foundation, what do you teach? Do you teach us the vocabulary, or do you teach grammar? And then they ask, some of the students ask, what's the difference between them? Can I study just the vocabulary? Can I just study the grammar? So all sides of questions they ask, what's the difference between them? What will I achieve if I only study vocabulary? Or what would it take to study the grammar? So the reality is that, you see, so in this session we'll try to see these two aspects from all the perspective. But the fact remains that to understand the book of Allah, Al-Qur'an Al-Kareem, you need both of them. Just one is not enough. You need the vocabulary and you also need the grammar along with it. Now, if I have to explain it in a layman terms, studying vocabulary, studying word for word kind of a thing, it's like doing a certificate course. You have a topic which interests you, but you just want to get an overview of it and get to know briefly of it, then that would be something, okay, you are studying the vocabulary of it, you are studying each word for it, that would be something like that. But if you really want to understand it inside out, to get the maximum out of it, then you need to study the grammar aspect of it. So this would be the two comparison that I would say. There's one is like a certificate course, and which can be completed in 3 days, 7 days kind of a thing, 10 days, and the other is like a degree where you study it in detail. So let's take a look at both these topics one by one. What are the pros and what are the cons of both of this, or what are the downside of it? So let's take a look at the vocabulary first. Now in vocabulary, we're going to take a look at what are the advantages if I want to study the vocabulary. What advantages do I have? The first and foremost, you can immediately start. You are not dependent on anything. You just pick up any PDF, pick up any website, pick up any book you have, or there are so many websites which do the translation, and you can immediately start and studying the vocabulary and memorizing those words. Of course, you don't need a teacher for this. You don't need a class. Your home is your class and you are the teacher of yourself, or that website or the book is the teacher of you. So you can just get started immediately without being dependent on the class or the teacher. Many free resources are available on the internet. You can just look for it. Quran translation, Quran vocabulary, the most happening words of the Quran, 80% words of the Quran, all kinds of resources, alhamdulillah, in today's time they are all available, and most of them are free, completely free. So you don't have to spend a dime or anything for it. So they are available for you, right? Then another advantage for you is you can work on your own schedule as time permits to you. You can make your schedule whenever you are free or what time you want to dedicate, and you can continue on that schedule as long as you can on that learning that vocabulary. So these are some of the advantages if you want to start with the vocabulary. Now at the same side, every coin has got two sides. What are the disadvantages, or you could say, rather I would say, what are the downside of just learning the vocabulary of the Quran? How will it, what can I expect from it? So let's take the downside. First and foremost, see, you are trying to learn individual words in isolation. You're looking at a word, you're trying to memorize the meaning. Mostly that's what is happening. Every word is being looked in its own background by itself. Okay, feel means elephant, feel means elephant, jamal means camel, jamal means camel. You see, just imagine if somebody is trying to learn English language, and he is memorizing those words, that ghar ka matlab house, okay, oont ka matlab camel, hathi ka matlab elephant, and all these random individual words. Now, will it be possible for him or her to look at an English article? Of course, he or she will be able to read it, but will they be able to make a sense of it? Can they understand those sentences? Very difficult. If you have a knowledge of first and foremost, what is the chance that those words will occur in that sentence? And even if they occur, how are you going to make a complete sensible sentence using those isolated words? It's going to be difficult. That's the very first downside of learning just the vocabulary. The second is the motivation is very short-lived. As I said, you are on your own. You are studying on your own mostly. Yeah, there are some groups where they study these words together in a class, in a virtual class, but mostly like you are on your own. So this is a very dry subject. It's a very, very dry subject. It needs a lot of support. It needs a lot of motivation. Since there is no class environment, there is no teacher, it is you who have to keep yourself motivated to keep on going, because usually these things happen after during the month of Ramadan or some other occasion, or you come across a nice lecture, or somebody gives you a small YY session on it, and then you get motivated to start learning. But it's not long term, so you have to do something to keep it motivated, because you are your teacher. So you need to do something about it to keep yourself motivated and continue on this journey. The third thing is, you see, remember, every language, not just Arabic, every language, one word can have multiple meanings. So you just memorizing that one meaning is not enough. It could be using the other format. For example, look at this English. In English also, you can say drop of water, right? Drop of water means ek pani ka boond. Fine. So if somebody has memorized, if somebody is learning English and he memorized drop means boond, okay, fine. Now what happens if he comes across a sentence which says drop him to the station? Okay, drop him to the station, same word drop, but doesn't mean boond. Now it's altogether different meaning. Drop means go and escort him to the station, go and leave him at the station. The same word could also be used as drop the gun. If the police says to the thief, drop the gun, which means throw it down. It doesn't mean boom. So the same word can have multiple meanings. So you need to be aware that any of the meaning could be implied in that particular sentence. So you need to be aware of that fact. Similarly, in Arabic, like for example, there are many words, but one of the words that comes to mind is haythu. Haythu. Now this word has 8 to 10 different meanings. It could mean which, it could mean when, it could mean where, it could mean whom, whereas, since, because, lots of meanings of it. It just depends on the context. So it's very difficult for someone to try to memorize the meaning of this word, haythu. Depends on the context. So we need to be aware of that fact if we want to fully understand the language. The next thing would be, there are different words for the same thing. Like in one of the ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses both these words, like the word qalb and the word fu'ad. Both of them mean heart, dil. Qalb as well as fu'ad. And interestingly enough, both these words are used in single ayah. When Allah talks about the mother of Musa alayhi salam, when she was putting Musa alayhi salam in the basket and letting it go in the river, this is what these two words are used, describing the condition of Musa alayhi salam's mother's heart, qalb as well as fu'ad. Now both of them mean the same. So now you need to be aware of this aspect also. One article mentioned that there are 999 names for the camel in Arabic language. Now it sounds like, how is it possible? Well, I don't know, but looking at the power of the language, it's not impossible also. They were obsessed with this word, with this thing called camel. So at least I know of 15 to 20 words for a camel. So I would not be surprised if there are really 919 names. So it could have, there are multiple words with the same meaning, right? The next thing could be that same word, opposite meaning. It's possible. Like the word ba'a in Arabic usually is used to mean sell, bechna. But at times it could also mean to buy. Ba'a usually means sell, but it also means to buy. There are so many other words also which have opposite meaning. So we need to be aware of this fact when we are trying to memorize the words and their individual meaning. Similarly, looking at some words, it's totally confusing. Like the word in. Then look, compare it to the word inna, just a fatha and shadda. Then compare it to the word inna with alif. Then there is another cousin of it, an. Then there is a cousin of this cousin which is anna. Now look at this word inna, anna. If you are going to memorize, look at this word, it's completely confusion. Unless you have understood these words in their real sense. What do they mean? What are their functions? How they come? What happens when they come? Then only they will sink in. Otherwise, just superficially memorizing them, it would really be a very, very tough, difficult task and more of a confusing one. Now, let's say you memorized a word. This could also happen. Let's say you are trying to reading the surah Iza Jaa Nasrullahi wal Fath, and you memorize the word Nasru. Nasru means, you look at the meaning, it means help. Okay, Nasru means help. Nasru means help. Nasru means help. Now the word is memorized. You know Nasru means help. And suddenly you are reading a Quran, you come across a word where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses the word Nasara. Now this is not exactly Nasru, because in Nasru you had a sukoon on the swad, and here it is Nasara and there's a fatha at the end. So is it still mean help? I don't know. But at least you are getting a clue that okay, Nasara, Nasru. But what happens if you get across a word Istansartunna? There is no clue for you that this is using the same word that you have memorized. Istansartunna. Very difficult, because the word can come in any form. So just because you have memorized one word does not mean that every time that word comes you will be able to recognize it. It's very difficult. The single word has so many forms it can come into. Now these forms can only be understood when you study it. Memorizing it is not going to help us. It's very, very difficult. So that's another challenge that the students face when they only rely on the vocabulary part of it. Now also it is very difficult to stitch together individual words to get a meaningful sentence out of it. Like take the example of the very common surah, Qul huwallahu ahad. Qul huwallahu ahad. Now even if you memorize all the words in this ayah, still it is difficult to make a sense. Qul means say, huwa means he, Allah is Allah, and ahad is one. So it's like say he, Allah one. Say he, Allah one doesn't sound like a very understandable sentence. So how do I make it a sensible sentence? Well, put a ease. Well, does this sentence have a ease? If it is, where it will come? These are all aspects that can only be understood through grammar. So the vocabulary is going to be helpless at this point. At the max, even if you have memorized all the word, you could say he, Allah, one. See that? So it's really a challenging task. Now let's take a look at the other side of it, the grammar part of it. Now in grammar also, yes, the grammar also has its own advantages and its own downside. Let's take a look at the downside of learning the grammar. If somebody wants to decide that okay, he or she is going to learn the grammar, okay, what are the downside of it? The very first thing is it's a very time consuming project. It's a very time consuming aspect. Be ready to spare some time. It could be anywhere depending upon how much time you give every day or every week or every month. It could be 6 months, 8 months, 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, whatever it could be. It's a time consuming. It's not a quick fix. It needs time for you to understand the grammar. We are learning the language. Second thing, I have seen based on my personal experience that this is very effective, or this is mostly suited for the class environment. It is not something that you can study on your own. Of course you can try, but it's not effective. It doesn't go over a long period. And even learning online in this lockdown period, I have tried taking classes. Many students are still after me that we are getting bored or we want to continue our study. Please take classes online. But the aspect is, what I have realized is, at least for my teaching style, it doesn't suit. And this subject, I think, it's my personal opinion, it's very difficult to be taught online. It needs that personal interaction. It needs those vibes. At least I need to know what is happening with my students. So if I am sharing some knowledge, are they getting it? Is it sinking in? If not, where is the problem? How can I change it? Those things, it's very difficult to gauge from an online class, where usually first of all you have a challenge of this technology, voice is not coming in, breaking, internet connections and all those things. In that, when you speak, everybody is silence, you can't make them, I cannot make my students study in this way. I need a response from them. I want everybody to be participating in the class. So for a person like me, I think this is only effective in the class environment. Yes, if there is a small thing which you want to share or something like that, you can do it online, but teaching the whole course online for 6 months or 1 year, I don't think it is as effective as in a class environment. The third thing is it needs a lot of patience and motivation. You need to be patient. You cannot be like, okay, I have been attending the class, grammar class for 1 week or 2 weeks, still I don't see anything. Well, you won't see anything for the next 3-4 months. Be prepared for it, and be prepared that you need to keep yourself motivated. Of course, the teacher has the responsibility to keep you motivated, but it's also your responsibility to keep yourself motivated by surrounding yourself with people who are passionate about the Arabic, who appreciate the Arabic language, who are also inclined to learn Arabic. If you are on YouTube most of the time, try watching the videos which are related to the language, related to the beauty of the Qur'an, beauty of the language, allocation of the language. That will keep you motivated always. So you need to, this is a very dry subject. It is not something technical. It is not related financially, that once you complete this course you are going to get a high paycheck. No, nothing of that. So everything is promised in the hereafter. So still you need to keep motivated. That is the aspect. So motivation is the main core that I believe, that if the student keeps himself or herself motivated, inshallah they will reach their destination. Now most of the time these courses are not free. You see, at least the good courses, you need to be ready for this. People say that, okay, you are teaching Quran, it should be completely free. I believe in the philosophy that nothing should be free. Even if you want to give free, don't give it free, charge some minimum amount. Because when the moment you say free, it loses its value, whatever it is. So don't keep it. I don't like that term free. And moreover, people should not expect it free. When they are ready to spend lakhs of rupees for other things, how can they? I get really depressed. I really get, I don't know, I feel very bad when someone comes and inquires. The first thing they ask is, how much is the fees? I mean, how much is the fees? First of all, of course, this will not be in thousands or lakhs or something like that, but that should be the last botheration. And at least in our organization, the policy is we don't ask for fees. If you are motivated to learn, come and learn. Don't pay a dime. But if you are able to pay it, because we have expenses. But to ask that question as the very first question, what's the fees? That is not good. So we need to change our mentality. Anyway, the last challenge is, at times it is very challenging, very challenging. So you might feel like, oh my God, I can't understand this. What is this? This is too tough, or something like that. That's the shaitan speaking. That's the shaitan's waswasa. No, when you learn something, remember you are learning a language, and that's not easy. Of course, in the language there will be aspects that you don't understand. When we study mathematics, there are so many things in which are very tough. You just drop that part. You don't leave learning of mathematics. No, you continue to study mathematics, but you feel like, okay, this aspect this is too tough for me to understand, so I will just leave it. That's fine, but continue with your study. So at times it will be challenging, but you need to stand the test. That's the downside. Now let's look at the positive side of learning grammar. What will happen? What should I expect when I embark on the journey of learning grammar? First of all, you will be able to grasp the language as a whole. You will feel the power, you will feel the beauty of it. You will now understand why it is called as the miracle, or why it is talked about book, why it is so eloquent. You will start appreciating it. That's the biggest thing that you will get, which is not possible to study or feel it by studying words in isolation. That's the first thing you will get. You will feel it. Of course, it needs time for that. The second and the most beautiful thing is, I cannot explain this, but you will have to feel it. Once you go through this learning of language, after 6 months or a year, you will have awesome feeling. You will have a different feeling when you are making salah, when you are praying, or when you are reading Quran. Now it is no more just a tilawa, just a recitation. No, you are pausing there. Oops, my God, that seems to be mudaf ilayh. Wow, why is this jar? So you'll start questioning. Now you are into the Quran. Now you are not thinking anything else. Now you are completely on the Quran. When you are praying, you suddenly realize that the Imam is talking about Yusuf alayhi salam. Oh, now he's come to the Musa alayhi salam story. Now he's talking about. So things will start replaying in your mind, which is much better than making your mind wander here and there in salah. Of course, the ultimate part is when you make the dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will realize that this dua is coming from inside. The way you make the dua, even if it is the smallest dua, Allahumma inni asaluka al-afiya. When you know the meaning and you recite these 3-4 words, the way you recite will be completely different than the person who recites it just because he or she has memorized it. You will be saying it differently because now you know the meaning. So you will the words will automatically, you will stress those words. The tone will be different. It will be completely different when you understand it. So these are some of the advantages which cannot be repaid back in money. These advantages are invaluable. And of course, when you are reading Quran, the concentration, and of course your concentration in the salah will be at a different level. Now you are really reaping true benefits or true fruits out of reading Quran and salah, while before this you were just gaining the reward for just reciting those letters. But now you are trying to comprehend it. You are trying to really do the tadabbur, the contemplation on it, and of course all those benefits come multiplied to you when you do this with understanding, right? Now, if required, once you understand the grammar of it, it is not that difficult to read Arabic without harkats, without any accents, no zair zabar pesh dama. You can still read it, most of the stuff. Why? Because now you know that based on grammar, this word needs to have zair, this word needs to have zabar, this word needs to have your pesh, whatever it is, zair, the dhamma, fatha, kasra. You will understand it, most of it, because now you understand the language. So you don't need those zair, zabar, pesh. If required, you can read it with the knowledge of the grammar. That's another side advantage for this. Now, during this process, it's not like when you learn grammar, you don't touch any part of vocabulary. Of course, when you're learning aspects of grammar, you practice it. And especially in our organization, Quran and Arabic Foundation, we don't do any exercise except with the words of Quran. 99% or 95% of our exercises are from the Quranic vocabulary. So you learn the vocabulary as you go on. And of course, we also share some 15-20 words at regular intervals. Okay, learn this new vocabulary. So it's not that you are zero on vocabulary. Your vocabulary also increases, enhances. And since we are doing the exercises with Quran, those words are getting repeated. And every time we use the meaning, that meaning gets into your mind. And this is the better way to learn the vocab rather than just sitting and memorizing it dry, just in the isolation, which doesn't remain in the mind for a long time. Because if something you don't use it, the mind just puts it in the back burner and then ultimately deletes it. But when you read it, when you are trying to understand the grammar, and this, of course, Quran repeats so many verses, so many words, so those vocabulary will also go into your head and it will become permanent. So it's the vocabulary, you will still get it even if you learn the Arabic. Now the best part of it, 90% of the understanding will happen even if you don't know the word. That's the beauty and the power of grammar. If there is a word you don't know, you have never seen that word, word never occurred to you, this is the first time you are seeing the word, but still 90% of the understanding of that word you can do it if you are a student of grammar. Yes, I mean it, and I will prove it. Take a look at this word. This is the word from Quran. Okay, here's the word. Fasa yakfikahum. Now at the first instant it looks like a long, big, long daunting word. For an average person, yes, this is the one word and it's too big to comprehend. I don't know anything about it. But if this word is put before a student of grammar, he will tell you that this word is made up of 6 different components. This looks like a one word, but it has 6 different aspects associated with it. So when you separate these 6 different components, now it becomes a small word. Here's how it works. Let's take a look. Let's do the analysis of this word. Fasa yakfikahum. Fasa yakfikahum. Now let's see. 6 components. Which is the first one? The word fa is the first component. The word fa is the first component. The word sir is the second component, second part of it. Sir is the second part. The year is the third indicator of it, the third part of it. Then you jump on to ka. This is the fourth part of it. Then you go to the next word, home. This is the fifth part of it. And the final part is your middle part, which is yakfi, kafi here. That's the sixth part. These are the 6 components which are tied together, and for an average person it looks like a one big word, but this is 6 different parts that make up this word. So as I said, if the student of grammar is looking at it, this word, which he or she has never seen it, not come across, but still look what they can do it. They will tell you, the student of grammar will be able to tell you that for is the first component, and for means then or so. So for is something which connects 2 parts of sentence. So it's like first you come and then you do this. So first you come and then, so then is always for. So it connects 2 parts. So here also for means then. So it is a one part. Then you see the word sir. Now the sir is a harf which indicates that this word should be interpreted or understood in a future tense. That's what the job of sir is. Sir is not part of word. For is not part of word. They are doing additional function here. So sir indicates that when you translate, when you interpret, better interpret in a future tense, because that's what the sir is there for. Then you have this year. Year is the indicator that shows that this word is in the present tense. So if the sir was not there, this word would be interpreted in the present tense. But since sir is there, that present tense gets converted into future, because in Arabic there is no specific future tense. There is only present and past. The present tense itself is used for future, and you want to make it exclusively future, you add the word harf sir. So the sir is future indicator, ya is the present tense indicator. What is ka? The fourth component. Ka is a pronoun which means you. So just looking at the ka, the student of grammar will be able to provide you at least 3 bits of information, or 4. First, ka is a pronoun, which means it's an ism, it's a part of a noun. Second, ka is masculine, its gender is masculine. Third, it is singular, it's one. And fourth, this is second person, so something being talked to the one who is there. So much information by just looking at ka. Similarly, when you look at the fifth component, home, again the student of grammar will be able to tell you this is the pronoun, this is masculine, this is third person, this is plural. So much information. That's the fifth component. Then you come on to the sixth component, which is kafaya. Now this is your actual word, kafi. This is your actual word. This word, maybe the student of grammar doesn't know the meaning, but still look at how much information he or she has already gathered. They can almost translate it. For means then, okay, sir, which means it's a future, which means when you translate, put the word will or shall, something like that, which suits here. So it will. And this is looking at this word yakfi. It already gave some information to the student of grammar that this is going to be third person, masculine, singular. Ka means you, already got the translation, and whom means them. So even if you don't have that meaning, still see how much translation I can do. Then yakfi. Now even the kafi word, which the student doesn't know, still he or she can extract some information from that unknown word. By looking at the word, he or she can tell this is singular, this is present tense, this is third person, and this is masculine. Now which is the word which is singular, third person, masculine? He. So which means in the translation it will be he. So then he will kafi, then he will kafi who? You, because of ka, you, and then it is them. Then he will be kafi to you over them, something like that. Now he doesn't know the meaning of it, but still look, so much translation has been done. Now all it needs is the meaning of kafi. Of course kafi comes from the word kafa yakfi. Kafa means kafi, sufficient. Now once you know the meaning, look at this. Then he will be sufficient for you over them. Now, what was missing? Only that sufficient meaning, suffice, that's needed. But apart from that, the student of grammar will be able to, inshallah, solve this and understand this. And then just get the meaning and then put it there, the answer is done. So it is so beautifully, I mean, once you understand the grammar, it opens the new opportunity, new doors of understanding. It is really, really beautiful. As a Muslim, we should not be overlooking over this part. This is our responsibility. When we spend 20 to 25 years learning so much skills, we are degree holders, we are PhDs, MBAs, marketing, doctors, all those things, very good, alhamdulillah. We should do that. We should keep continuing. Our kids should do that. But at the same time, we should not be treating Arabic language in such a way that I don't know what will be our answers in front of the Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, where he asks, okay, you were able to spend 20-25 years learning so many languages and skills, you didn't have time for, I don't know what our answer will be, that we are neglecting this language in such a way that we should at least spend some effort, dedicate some time. Inshallah, as a Muslim, it is mandatory for us to learn this language, to understand this language. Now, this video is not meant as a discouragement for people who are learning vocabulary. No, not at all. This is just to explanatory video to show you that, of course, the people who are trying to understand word for word or vocabulary, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward them, because they are much better than those people who are not even trying. So you are much, but the point of this video is, don't stop at that. Take it to the next level. Once you understand vocabulary, you have started learning, take it to the next level, see how you can enhance your knowledge. And also, this video was made for those people who are always used to inquire, what's the difference between this, what should I do? So this is a kind of a brief overview. I hope this helps all of us. If you are also passionate about this Arabic language like us, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and like the video. And of course, spread the word. Nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.